It's been a busy couple of weeks for her, but nothing at this juncture, I would imagine, is more important than her fight against Talia Santos Saturday at the Apex. Of course, I'm talking to Joanne. Don't call me Joanne Calderwood Wood, who's kind enough to join us via the Magic of Zoom. Hello,
Oh
Joanne.
my gosh. Awesome. Thank you so much. It's so good to see you.
Oh my
And
gosh.
talking of gifts, I've got a gift for you.
You do?
I have, yes, a wedding favor.
Oh my gosh. Oh, you saved one for me?
Yes.
Wow. Oh my gosh. That means a lot. So I'll put that on the desk as well, or on the set here. Wow, we have so much to talk about, Joanne. Are you at home right now?
Yeah, I am. I'm just about to drive to the Apex to do a media day.
Yes.
But I'm like, it's not media day without Ariel.
Come on, of
So I'm
course.
grateful
You know, they
to be
don't
here.
include me in the media day because I'm a bit of a renegade. I'm an outlaw. But we all know the biggest interview is this one. I appreciate you doing this. Fantastic jukebox you have over there. This is at your home. Does that thing actually work?
Yeah. Yeah. I got it for John's Christmas last year or the year before.
Okay.
Yeah. You want me to put it on?
I mean, we could play some tunes later. I know time is of the essence. I also love that you're rocking the Vegas Golden Knights. I mean, you are a full-time, like, Las Vegan. Is that the word? Las Vegasian? What is the word? What do you call someone from Las Vegas? Las Veganite?
I don't know.
A veganite? I mean, you're always rocking
vegan-
Raiders, Golden Knights. I mean, like, I don't even know if you're Scottish anymore. You're like full-time Las Vegas gal at this point.
I know I've been loving learning about the sports and going to the games. I was there last night actually at the Vegas Knights
Wow.
game. So yeah, I'm loving it.
You know you're fighting this weekend as well, right? I mean, you're home, you're going to games. Does it feel weird that you're fighting this weekend after everything you've been through over the last few weeks?
It does because I feel like I'm still buzzing. I've got a lot of energy and excitement still from the wedding. So it does feel a little bit weird. And people are like saying to me, "Are you fighting this weekend?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I guess people thought like I wouldn't do the two things at once. So everyone's like thinking, "Oh, I'm just getting married," but no, I've been getting ready for the fight in the midst of it.
So, as you just alluded to, you got married a couple of weeks ago to the love of your life, the great John Wood, head coach over at Syndicate MMA. The photos, by the way, I'm so sorry I couldn't attend, but the photos were just fantastic. And it was on Halloween weekend. So, you guys painted your faces. I mean, we have some of the photos here. You can't see them, but we're sharing some that you shared. This photo right here of you two dancing with the painted faces, this was fantastic. Whose idea was it to actually do this? Because I thought it was so unique, and it obviously, I mean, I couldn't imagine what it was like in person, but the photos are just, they're breathtaking, really. You both looked amazing.
Yeah. So we usually throw a Halloween party anyway. So we were like, let's do it all in one, get the wedding done. And obviously it was the day before Halloween. So we were like, let's do it together. So it worked out perfect. And I was like, for our costume, we should just stay in our wedding dress and his suit, because my wedding dress was a lot of money. So I wanted to get the most out of it.
Yes.
And I was like, let's just paint our face. And everyone in the wedding party just painted our face and kept our nice dresses and suits, and everyone else came Halloween costume. It was pretty funny.
Was there any part of you that, you know, you get married, you have like that you did all this so close to each other that you're like, maybe I won't take a fight at the same time? Now, we've seen some people take the fight first and then get married, which is very risky because you can have a black eye or something like that. Did you want them separate, but this was the only fight day that you can get? What were your feelings when it all came together like this?
Well, me and John have got a busy schedule, so he had a free weekend, and I was like, let's just book it because we've been putting it off. So we booked a wedding, and then literally that week, UFC calls me and says, because I was like, I was waiting to hear, but I hadn't heard anything. So it was typical because they called me that week after I had just booked the wedding, and we were like, this was for a week after the wedding. I was like, can we have it before the wedding? But the only option was a week after, or November 20th. So we went with the November 20th and we made it work. Luckily, I have people that took the stress off of me. I paid some people to organize a wedding, and I basically just enjoyed myself.
Did you always want to get married? Were you one of those girls that always dreamed of getting married, or is this something that came to you later in life?
No, I never, like my mom and dad divorced when I was a teenager. So I've kind of grew up with that mentality of, uh, I'm never getting married. And then, but when you meet the right person, those things go out the window. And obviously, I'm in America. I need a green card as well. So I was like, I can't not stay. I can't not get married. But when I knew John, when I met John, I knew that I wanted to marry this guy.
Right away, or did it
When
take
you
some
know, you
time?
know. No, when you know, you know.
Yeah, but
And
was it?
when you don't know,
Yeah.
you know.
But was it right away for you, or was it like over time training? Because you trained at the gym, right, beforehand.
Well, I actually met him at the PI, and then I told him I was coming over to his gym to try it out because I just moved to Vegas for UFC Performance Institute, and then kind of got to know him there, and then I just knew straight away like either this is going to go so wrong or so right.
Right. I remember, and I hope you don't mind me bringing this up. Like I remember a few years ago, I have a great affinity for you, Joanne. You're one of the best people that I've ever met covering the sport. I don't know anyone who speaks badly of you. And I remember, I think we were in Sweden, and you went to TriStar, and you were kind of bouncing around, and you left Scotland. And when I think back to you then, it felt like you were a bit of a lost soul. Like you didn't really have a home. You were a nomad. You left your team. It didn't really work out in Canada. And so to see you so happy now and in Vegas and like embracing the culture and with a family and an adopted son, like it just feels like life has really come together for you. Is that an accurate portrayal of the last few years in your life? Back then in Sweden, you were a little bit lost, and now some way, somehow the stars have aligned for you and you couldn't be happier?
Yeah, and when I look back at it, I feel like that was a lot to do with myself. I was just putting all that pressure on fighting, and it kind of drove me into the ground. And I didn't go. There was no consistency. There was no yet, like you say, I was lost. I was kind of traveling to find where the right place was, and it took me a long time. But if I had to go through all that again to get to this point where I'm so happy, and it's completely worth it when you do find your way and you do find your right person and have everything aligned in front of you to go on. Like I feel like I'm in my prime right now. I have the UFC PI, I have Syndicate, I have all the great girl training partners that I've dreamed of ever since I started MMA. And yeah, it's just it's awesome to look back, see how far I've came.
By the way, who's responsible for bringing you to the PI? Like, who's the person that said you should go there?
Clint, the nutritionist at the PI, yeah, because I was kind of. It was when I had just missed weight for Cynthia, and I was in a rut. I was probably rock bottom, thinking I don't even want to do this anymore. And then I kind of took 2 months away from social media and all the whole sport. And then I started working on myself, and then I started missing it. And then I reached out to Clint and says, I need help with my nutrition. And then he's like, why don't you come out here to the facility? We can do tests, blah, blah, blah. And then the rest is
Wow.
history.
So in your mind, at one point, you were done?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Really?
I had, yep, I had, when I left TriStar, because I feel like I left Scotland and I went to TriStar to make it work. And, I thought it was going to work. But the first 2 months I knew I saw red flags and I was like, nah. But, like in a relationship, you try and it's early on, you try and make it work. But it ended up just pulling me down further and further. I had great people out there that I loved, and I was trying to make it work, and it was easy for me to go home, which didn't make it easy in the long run because I was doing the jumping back and forwards, and you can't do that. You need consistency, and yeah, so I probably stayed there longer than I should have. There was no female training partners for me. I was getting beaten up every day, and it just mentally it wasn't good for me.
What would you be doing now if you didn't decide to reach out to Clint? Like, where do you think you'd be in your life?
Back home in Scotland, miserable. But I think my my path was always to be here. So maybe if I didn't, then I would have probably eventually got back on, I would hope. But yeah, I feel like this is my journey, and John is he's supposed to be my journey as well, and Mav, and everything's just now where it's supposed to be. We're like, geez, it took us this long, but sometimes people don't even find the one or find where they're happy in. So I'm grateful. I'm 35 and better late than never, but it could be worse.
What's life like as a mother?
Amazing. I love it. Like, you think, oh, I'm never going to have enough energy for going home to some kids, but he just brings me a different kind of energy, and I love growing with him and me growing as a person and seeing him grow, and like me telling him things and him listening to me, and then seeing it fold out and him becoming a good person. It's awesome.
Did you feel the same way back when you were younger about motherhood as you did about marriage? Like you didn't think that you would, be a mother to someone? Were you not interested in that?
No, I've always been a caring person. Before I gave up my job to do this full time, I was a nursing assistant. I worked with the care of the elderly. So I loved that job. I loved caring for people. So I feel like that's part of me. I love looking after people, making sure they're good. So that's always been in there. Yeah.
Do you think you'll go back to that job when you're done fighting?
I said that at the start. I was like, I'm for sure going to go back and go and go back to university and be a nurse. But no, not now. I'm like, I want to be a full-time mom and help with the gym and the team coming up. I still want to be involved. So that will be my path.
In terms of fighting, and I know you just said you're in your prime, but in terms of fighting, how many years do you want to fight for? How many more years?
Well, I just signed a new contract and I've got another 4 fights, but hopefully I can get those 4 fights out and then be done. But I don't want to say I'm going to retire and then until I'm actually done.
Right.
We've seen a lot of female fighters have kids and then come back and be even better. So that's an inspiration. But I think maybe a year or so.
That's it? Only 4 left? 1 year?
I want to have kids, but we'll see how the next 4 fights go and take it from there.
So with that in mind, do you think a lot about the decision to fight Jennifer last year? Do you wish you didn't take that fight? Do you regret it?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, for me, I didn't feel right on the day. I felt sick, and then I got COVID on the Wednesday. So I think there was a lot of aspects to that fight. I took it short notice, and I wasn't good on the day. Like, I hadn't ate, and then after the fight, like, I got rushed to the hospital, and there was a lot of issues there. So I feel like me looking back on that, but you have to, like, as a fighter, every day is not going to be a good day. So you have to prepare for those and kind of let that go. Like, okay, that wasn't good. That not kind of dwell on it too much.
So after the Jennifer fight, right after you were rushed to the hospital?
Yeah, they had to put John in the front they needed backup because my heart rate dropped.
Whoa.
And John, they called for backup, and John was like, didn't really know what was going on, and he got put in the front, and then luckily I was okay, and once I got to the hospital, I kind of came around. But yeah, I fainted. I collapsed after when I got back and we were doing the medicals.
Oh my gosh.
Because I think it was just from not eating and, the adrenaline dump and all that. And then obviously Jennifer had armbarred me, so there was a lot of pain in my arm. But I think honestly it was, and someone told me like it was probably just you getting COVID, because I tested positive on the Wednesday.
Wow. On the Wednesday COVID. After?
Yeah. So we don't know if it was like maybe to do with that as well. So But it is what it is. That was a year ago now.
Yes.
Still here, still living.
And feeling okay. No ill effects, no
Yeah,
nothing. Okay.
nah.
It's still wide open at 125, right at the top. Do you feel like one win gets you back in that spot, or do you think it's going to be a few wins needed?
For sure, a few more wins. And feel like Dana's going to do a Hunger Games for Valentina. I feel, and I'm hoping our paths do cross, you know. I feel like Lauren Murphy, she like barely, like she scraped a win from me, and then she went out and kind of done that performance. It's like, at least go out on your sword.
Was that a hard thing to watch?
Yeah.
Because you obviously thought
Because
you
I
won
feel
that
like,
fight, right?
yeah, I know it was a close fight, but I'm like, that was your one chance, you know, go out there and take it to the champ. But for me, watching as a fan, I was like, there's nothing really happening here.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel,
I know Valentina's a very, like, she's calculated killer, but at least can I go out there and make it exciting, die on your sword?
is there something to be said for the fact that you're standing in front of Valentina Shevchenko? Like, do you think people change? They get intimidated when they're in front of her? Maybe it's easier to say. I mean, it's obviously easier
Mm-hmm.
for me to say as opposed to you. You're an actual fighter, but do you think that has something to do with it potentially?
Oh yeah, for sure. I can imagine it being a scary thing, but I mean, when I'm standing in front of Santos, it's going to be a scary thing. This is what we do. We're fighters, and all these doubts and thoughts that come into your mind, it's all normal, and you just have to deal with it and keep putting yourself in those places to when it does actually happen, that you don't freeze and you do your job at the end of the day.
Were you hoping to fight in front of fans this time? The last few have been right. I mean,
Yeah.
it gives you a little energy, right?
Oh, for sure. I'm someone that, I mean, I go into a fight and I get hit. I love that. But the atmosphere of people, even if they're cheering for you getting hit, it's just like, you can't explain the difference in having a crowd and not having a crowd. I love it. But there's going to be a couple of hundred people there at the Apex.
Are you impressed with Talia?
I mean, looking at her and then looking at her record, she's got a good number. But if you do kind of look at the people she fought, she didn't really fight anyone until she got to the contenders, when she started fighting people with an actual record. So obviously, I'm not taking anything away from her, and I'm expecting a war or like for her to bring it. But I'm pretty confident that I've been in there with better competition.
You know, I obviously I think there's no debate here. I think you're the greatest female fighter to come out of Scotland. There's a young fighter out of Scotland who's making some waves named Casey O'Neill. She was on the show a couple weeks ago. I was a little surprised. Different teams, I know that, and you live in the same city. That she said she never met you, or that maybe in passing, but you guys don't have much of a relationship. What do you think of young Casey O'Neill? Same weight class, I do believe, as well. So maybe that's probably why you guys aren't the best of friends.
I know we've met in Canada. She came to TriStar for a little bit,
Okay.
and then in Australia as well. But yeah,
Did I
uh,
maybe I misheard her? Now she's going to get mad at me for mishearing her. I thought I remember her saying that maybe you don't have a relationship, is what I remember.
yeah, we don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, she, yeah, she's a great fighter, and you know what really annoys me is she parks in the disabled spot at
Oh,
the PI,
what?
and people that do that really pee me off. So
That's crazy. Are you serious? Casey,
yeah.
what are you doing? Parking in the disabled spot? That's grounds for towing.
I don't know the PI though.
How do you, by the way,
But
how do you know
yeah,
it's her car?
I've seen her a few times getting out of it.
Come on. You say something to her?
Yeah, no. Yeah, we don't really have that much of a relationship. She's at Extreme Coutures and I'm at Syndicate. And yeah, I don't know. We
Okay.
just never really hit it off.
Is there a rivalry there between the two gyms?
No, just we we don't train together. So
Right.
yeah,
I mean, you're the two main gyms in Las Vegas.
I know, right?
There's a bit, I would
It's
imagine
either
there's a
that one
rivalry.
or that one.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, but not for us. We're not. Everything's mutual, I think.
sure.
Like if you're, we both have different kind of goals, I feel. So I think sometimes the mold will fit better at extreme, and sometimes the mold will fit better at
Right.
syndicate.
I hear you. By the way, before I let you go, I know you're a mom now, wife. You're all grown up. Are we still shaving the side of the head? What are we doing? No more?
No,
It's
I
over?
have not done that in years.
Oh, come on. Not years. Maybe a year.
Yeah, no, years.
Multiple
Like
years?
2 or 3 years. Yeah.
Come on. Is it because I
Yeah,
took you to the Brooklyn barbershop and after that you were like, never again?
that was fun.
You won that fight.
No, it's because you've not took me back and you've not paid for it.
Come on. Wait, did I not pay for it the last time?
No, you did.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what I mean, like not
Okay,
being
geez.
back, and so I can't afford a haircut, you know.
Yeah, no, I hear you totally. Is it because you feel like you've outgrown it? I mean, that was kind of like your thing, your armor.
I know. I just felt like everyone was doing it, and then I was like, I know. I still like mine has been the best. Like
Yeah, of course.
I've never seen anyone like. But also, I left Glasgow, and my barber there, she was amazing. She done it freehand, and I just never really found a barber that could do it as good as her.
Yeah,
So,
no, I agree.
yeah, I just grew it out.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so big fight this Saturday. Maybe the fourth to last time we'll see you in the octagon. I mean, this is a lot to handle, Joanne. If I'm being honest, what do you think? What are we thinking? I feel a finish this time for you, Joanne. I feel like we're gonna prove a point on Saturday. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident. Got that wife power.
Yes, mom power, wife power. I mean, there's nothing better than that. You got the Golden Knights, the Raiders. It's all coming up. Joanne Calderwood, and by the way,
I've been on your show.
you've been.
You're not going to be there.
No, of course not. I'll never be there. I'm actually banned from the city of Las Vegas. That's what I've been told. By the way, so we're going with Joanne Wood, yes? I kind of buried the lead here, but it was kind of crazy to see it. Why didn't we go with Calderwood Wood?
Because then John would get what he wanted.
Which is what?
Calderwood Wood. He wanted me to hyphenate just because it was funny. No, actually, Ariel, I'm more Scottish with the Wood. Just the Wood.
Really?
Because Wood has a clan. They have their own tartan. So for me, it's like a win-win situation. I'm ditching the Calder and going with the Wood.
Okay, that is amazing. Is it weird for you to see?
Yeah, it is a little bit weird, but everyone's like Mrs. Wood, and I'm like, ooh.
It's nice. It's nice. I understand the UFC kind of let the cat out of the bag on that one. Weren't you supposed to surprise your husband with that? Come on.
Yeah, I was hoping it was going to be a surprise, but yeah, it was a good to see his reaction when it came up on the TV on that weekend. There, it was.
You were watching?
So I thought, yeah.
What did he say?
We were watching, and then it like advertised for next weekend, and Mav was there as well, and he just jumped up, and it was pretty nice to see that he was proud that I had chose to keep with Wood, because I was telling him I'm staying with Calderwood. I can't change my name, but it was only me and Danny messing with him.
I love it. That's great. By the way, very, very last thing, because I know you have to run. On Monday, I was talking to Misha about, having a relationship with the coach and Aspen Ladd and whatnot. I'm sure you have many thoughts on this, but just curious, what would your advice be? Like, it obviously works for you. It hasn't worked for others. What would your advice be to someone who's in your position?
Yeah, that's a hard situation to be in, and then to get out of. For us, we know it works, and first and foremost is our careers. So I can't imagine like taking a career out and then looking at the life and then putting a career in there as well in the mix of it. Because this MMA is a stressful sport. Every day is grueling. So I feel like you have to have someone there to have fun, to lighten the mood. But that's me personally. Some some people like that kind of other environment. But for me, just if it's not good at home, then it's not going to be good at your office, your work, wherever. So yeah, we don't know what's going on, but I know that it's a hard situation to be in and to get out of. But I feel like if you know, you already know, and if you don't know, you usually know as well.
Wow.
Like, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. That's a hard one. Me and John make it work, and I'm grateful for that. So yeah, I don't know what else to say on that kind of touchy.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Because we're always, our advice is don't date someone in the gym.
Oh wow, okay.
And it's hard because we are dating, but we know that it works, and like unless it's the right person, then go for it. But if you have red flags and stuff, it's just going to make your world miserable.
Joanne, much respect. So happy for you. Again, congratulations. Sorry I wasn't able to be there. I know everyone was upset, but hey, I don't feel so bad because your manager wasn't there, for God's sakes. I mean, your good friend Danny Rubenstein chose to go to Peter Yan's fight instead of your wedding. I'm not going to bring it up, but I just brought it up. I was a little shocked, if I'm being honest.
I know, right? That's terrible. But someone dressed up as him. So.
I saw his significant other. Yes, I saw it. It was a nice effort, but it wasn't quite the same, if I'm being honest. Can't wait to see you fight. Can't wait to see Joanne Wood fight for the first time in the UFC. And thanks for doing this before your big media day later on, okay? Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ariel. Have a great one.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. There she is, the one and only Joanne Wood. Joanne, don't call me Calder Wood. How about that?